Hey guys, Graham Carlos again. Time to make another ICU teaching video. Today we're going to be looking at some ventilator waveforms. We had a patient today on rounds that had some dysynchrony with a ventilator, and so I thought it'd be a good time to review these three as they're very common causes of ventilator dysynchrony you'll see in the ICU. So panel A here shows a concept called double triggering. So you see here one breath is delivered right on top of the second breath. Typically these breaths have the same volume, especially if it's in a volume control mode. What happens here is the patient triggers the first breath, the air goes in, and after the ventilator has delivered the air, the patient is still breathing in, making an inspiratory effort. So the ventilator gives the patient another breath right on top of it. It's called a double trigger. You'll typically see the tidal volume spit out on the ventilator to be in the 800-900 range because it's two breaths together, stacked right on top of one another. What's the solution for this? Well, you should extend the inspiratory time on the ventilator. By extending the inspiratory time such that it's longer than the patient's intrinsic inspiratory time, you should avoid that second breath. Panel B shows breaths right on top of one another. Notice that the line is green, meaning that the trigger is coming from the patient. And this is called auto-triggering. This sometimes is seen when something is causing the patient to trigger and get a breath right on top of one another. A common cause that I've seen would be when a lot of humidity and fluid forms in the vent tubing. As it sloshes back and forth, it can, believe it or not, generate just enough negative pressure to cause the vent to trigger a breath. So when you see auto-triggering like this, make sure and check the tubing from the ventilator all the way towards the patient. And then panel C here, it's been a long day, is red in terms of the upslope on the breaths. That tells you that the ventilator is giving those breaths. They're not being triggered by the patient. So here you have what's called ineffective triggering. So the patient is making a small effort at triggering a breath, can't get it done, and the ventilator is having to initiate that breath. This may be because your flow or pressure trigger is set too high. You might need to lower it. And then sometimes in cases of patients that have severe emphysema and PEEP, they can have an ineffective trigger, and you need to adjust that accordingly. So again, to review, A, we have a double trigger, correct it by increasing the inspiratory time. B, we have auto-triggering, check the ventilator tubing. C, we have ineffective triggering, check the flow and pressure regulations, and look at the patient and make adjustments accordingly. That's it for today.